Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me today. Yesterday, we started working on this insert, this Americana 4th of July insert for my truck. I might be zoomed in too much. So we're going to continue on with it today. So I think I have a pretty good coat of blue on, so what I'm going to start doing is highlighting the blue and shading the blue. So the highlighting color I like to use for the blue is a color called French Gray Blue. So we'll start there and we'll see how far we get today. Morning, honey. Everything's gone crazy. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to go above this hat band. I have a little shadow overcast behind me. And I'm just looking for a little bit of highlight. Actually, that's a little bit borderline than what I really would like. So I'm just going to try and soften it. If not, I'll go back over it. With highlighting and shading, I prefer, I don't like bold lines. It's another humid day today. So I know shading and highlighting is going to be difficult again. Just painting period is going to be difficult because of the humidity levels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the outside of the firecracker. The outside edge, you know, to the left here and the top of this. I think I'll shade here. Definitely on the outside of the arms, the coat. I'm still undecided yet how I'm going to do the beard. I just think it's too small to try and do this like I would do a gnome. But I may attempt it. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely a lot wider than what I would want. Oh boy. My brush is just a little bit too wide for the area. But if you tilt your brush at an angle like I'm doing right here, you can kind of make your shading and highlighting in just a little bit thinner. Now I need to go over and do this side, but however, that's what, if I was to go and highlight it right now, it would, excuse me here, let me see something. Kind of getting a delay. Good morning. Morning, Mary. How are you today? I hope you haven't been getting bad storms your way. You've been getting a lot of tornado. I'm doing really, really good. We've been getting a lot of tornado watches and warnings. And hot. Oh my goodness, it's been hot. How's the weather been your way? Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm over this hot weather. But I guess it's supposed to be cooler today. So I'm ready for that change. I feel like I'm living back in Florida. I didn't like Florida. It was too hot. I like the cup that you made for your grandson, too. That was really, really nice. He's a cutie patootie. Yeah, your grandson, he's going to break some hearts when he gets older. Like I said, I'm just going around the outside edges. Good morning. Oh, really? A boy, huh? Aww. Do they have a name already picked out? Not yet? Well, you'll have to let me know. I know you wanted a girl, but that just means another baby, another grandbaby. That's how I look at it. But that's nice. I'm glad. Because you said January the baby is due, right? January? I think you said. Yes. Have you had any craft shows lately? Or trying to get ready for any? Ah, okay. I don't know how far Shaker Woods is from you. That's usually, well, they have two. I think one's in July and the other one's in August or September. But that's a big craft show over here. Oh, you and your sister would absolutely love it. But like I said, I don't know how far of a drive it is for you. Just so many nice crafts. It's a big craft show. My husband and I went last year, first time in a long time, and we really enjoyed it. And I know we'll probably go back and go again this year. Weather permitting. But they have it like 3 weekends in a row. So that tells you it's a pretty big craft show out this way. And then like about a month after that, they have what they call Christmas in the Woods. And it's all Christmas stuff. Yeah, you will. I mean, I don't know what kind of weight they have for their craft show. There's a lady, her last name is Skibo. I actually bought some stuff. She's in a painting group. She's a wonderful painter. And you can only do one or the other. So, if you do the regular one, you can't do the Christmas and vice versa. But they have like shacks in these woods. I mean, they're not shacks, they're nice. But you put all your stuff in there. And so what she does is like she does the first one, doesn't do the Christmas one, but she rents out her spot and her shack. So I would think that's how it goes, period, but I don't know. But you and your sister ought to look into that. Because I'm telling you, that's a nice craft show. And a lot of people go there. A lot. And like I said, it's 3 weekends in a row. And then they take a break and then they come back and do Christmas. They have entertainment, food, you name it. I mean, it's nice. It's really a nice craft show. And then also, too, I mean, to buy stuff there is somewhat expensive. But you're buying from Shaker Woods, and so, it is nice. Yeah, you should look it up. I know they have something online. It's called Shaker Woods. It's in Columbiana, Ohio. And it's really, really nice. Okay, I'm going to shade this blue with a color called Deep Midnight Blue. Now, the last time I used this, usually this is a pretty dark blue, and you got to watch. Because you can get too much, and it can be, like, too dark, too quick. But the last time I used it, it was pretty mild. But I'm still going to give you caution with the Deep Midnight Blue. And like I said, if you've watched me before, I like to build my highlighting and shading up. I really do. So I do it a little bit at a time. Are you working on anything special, Mary? And I'm just going to go underneath the arms. I'm going to go on this side of the jacket. I'll probably go underneath the firecracker here on the flag. And then I'll probably go all the way around the beard. Not right now. How are you liking your laser? And I have a tendency to put too much water. It's a downfall I have. But I rather have too much water than too much paint. Because if you have too much water, at least I can, take the mop brush and dry it up a little bit. I feel if you get too much paint, it's hard to take it off. And then you waste time. All right, honey. Thank you so much for stopping in. You have a great day. I'll talk to you later. But I just use too much water. It's I don't know. I can't break myself of that habit. It just happens. Thank you. Yeah, this blue is being pretty mild again today. And that's okay. Like I said, I don't care for harsh highlighting and shading lines. That's me. That's just my style of painting. Some people prefer that, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong in shading and highlighting. What you prefer, you got to do. It's your project. You're the one that's going to be displaying it in your home or selling it or whatever. And you have to do what appeals to you. And I always like to highlight, I know I've said this before if you've watched me, I prefer to highlight first than shade. And that's just my choice. And the reason why I do that, because if you see when I just went over this arm, what it does is it actually then covers up that highlighting that I did. And it, when you look at something, shadow will, if there's a shadow, it kind of will, cast over a bright spot. That's how I see things. I prefer to highlight before shading. I will highlight first probably 90% of the time. I mean, every now and again I will switch it up. And it just has to be a certain circumstance as to why I'm doing that. But 9 times out of 10, I will highlight first before I shade. I have way too much water on my brush. So if you were watching me yesterday, I had a lot of technical issues with monitoring my broadcast on my iPad. I don't know why. I know my app updated. I mean, it's fine on my phone. It's fine on my husband's phone. But on the iPad is another story. And I don't know why. And it hasn't changed. So I don't know what the deal is. But I did find a solution to help me monitor comments and viewers today. I prefer not to do it that way, but sometimes you just gotta change the way you're doing things. And even though this firecracker, it's the outside edge, and I like to highlight outside edges, I'm just gonna put a shade there just to darken it. Part of me really, really wants to do this beard like a gnome. But I just think it's small. It's a small area. I think it might be difficult. I have various sizes and rake brushes, which that's what I like to use as a rake brush. And I have two styles of rake brushes. I have straight across, and I have some that are rounded. And I actually kind of prefer the rounded ones. I don't know why. I think they're easier to maneuver. Just like I said, the thing that I worry about is because I'm putting that mustache on and it's separate, it might look kind of silly. I don't know. So that's why I'm doing all this other stuff first, to kind of get an idea. But I'm going to have to do this beard before I do the hand, because if you think about it, the arm is over top of the beard. So I'm going to have to do that first. I apologize for this line going across the middle. I have blinds in my room, and right now it's the time of day where the sun is shining in on that part of the house. So I know it can be a little bit distracting. I might need to figure out a different way so that's not coming across there. I don't know. Well, we never did get those storms they were talking about yesterday. We had a tornado watch in our area till 8 p.m. last night. It was breezy, but that's about it. Nothing to really worry about. wasn't super high winds, just breezy, but it was very humid last night. Humid again today. It's been unique weather so far this summer. I think what I'm gonna do, just kind of go around over this corner a little bit right here, just because I want to brighten it up. And what I did is what they call walking the float. It's really, the viewing area is dark on my iPad. I don't, let me see, maybe I need to adjust my settings. All in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I need to do a little highlighting on the outside edges of these cuffs. I'm just doing it at the top and bottom. I think I'll go around the bottom of this particular part of the firecracker. And then what I'll do is I'm going to actually go back and shade on this side of this particular cuff only. And the reason why I'm going to do that is if you look, see it's right there, so that it's behind the jacket. So. And I'm just, when I float shading and highlighting, I use a very light touch. It's very light. I'm hardly touching the surface. And I try and keep my brush like this against the surface. Sometimes you'll see me tilt the brush. I do that to kind of make the width of the highlighting or shading a little bit more narrow. That's what I do. I prefer to use a flat brush, a flat shader brush compared to an angled. Now I do have angled. I will use like the smaller ones, just so I can do them better if I have a smaller area I have to get into. I'll use the angle brushes if I have a lot of curves, so I can manipulate the curves. But other than that, I actually prefer to shade with a flat shader. You'll have to experiment on your own to see which type of brush you feel more comfortable with. everybody has their own style, so you'll have to figure out what works best for you. And that just comes to brushes in general. You'll have to figure out what, you like best. All right, I'm going to paint these. I should have done that yesterday, and I did not. I'm going to just go ahead and use the honey brown that I used yesterday for the wood part of the bell. I mean, another color you could use if you want is like white. I mean, if you wanted to do the red, white, or blue, to keep with the patriotic theme, you can do that. I'm just using the honey brown. And then what I'll do is I'll see if I can get a slight highlight. There's not much space there. And, you can go overboard with the shading and the highlighting. I'm just going to have to break down and do that beard. Sad thing is, my script liner brushes, they've seen better days. And I just haven't bought any new ones. They just don't hold up for me. I'm going to break down and just do this like the gnome beard. I just think that's the best choice. So with that being said, I like to do the base of my beard in slate gray. I really didn't want to go this route, but I think it's probably the best choice. I'm not going to worry about a great coat of gray because I'm going to be going over this with very thin down white. Probably what I'll do is I'll do light buttermilk. Now I will go over these areas where I've got some of the blue and the red if this gray doesn't cover it up very good, because I don't really want those colors really coming through. The beard, that's why I chose to do the jacket first, because as you can see I got a little bit of shading and highlighting on the part where the beard would be. You know, and here's something else I can do. I mean, and I'll see how it goes. Is I can probably leave the mustache maybe a solid color. I don't know. When I did my Uncle Sam Gnome porch greeter, because it was all one surface, where this is now layered, you know, you could do that. And it looked okay. But once I put, you know, the mustache on, you know, that hair is going to just cut off right at the mustache. And to me, that doesn't look realistic. I mean, if you think about it, you look at somebody's beard, mustache, their hair's all over the place. There's scraggly hairs. So they just don't cut off. But we will see. And I have to be careful when I'm doing this, because if you think about it, like I said, this arm is over top. So the the hair on his beard should be behind this. Something I did when I would paint my porch greeter is I actually stuck a piece of tape across there, that when I'm doing my lines, you know, using my brush, whether it be the script liner or the rake brush, even, you know, because you're going in long strokes, even though, you know, I did that, it would go onto the tape and not my painted surface. So I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably stick a piece of tape on there, and painter's tape. To prevent that from happening again. And that's why I'm going to wait to paint the hand, because I want the fur. Well, I don't know why I keep saying fur. Probably because I'm thinking about the Highland cow I painted, sorry. I want the hair of the beard to be behind the hand. But that's just me. If you choose to go this way to do your beard, you know, it's up to you how you do that. What kind of worries me too is just how humid it is. Trying to do that technique up here today will be interesting. And the thing is too, you have to, when you're doing that technique, and it's tough because, you know, patience is a virtue. And I want to get it done, and I want to get it done quickly. You really have to let your layers dry in between coats. And I use very watered down paint. I mean, there's more water than there is paint. But that's me. That's how I do it. I mean, anytime you use your liner brush, period, you want your paint to be, as they say, an ink-like consistency. And if you think about it, ink from a pen is very, very thin and watered down. So it just helps get those more narrow lines. I mean, because this whole surface is like really, really tacky and just, I don't know. We will see. I'm kind of committed now. I kind of committed myself to this. I mean, I can go back with the light buttermilk and paint this beard solid. It just would take a lot of coats. Because you're trying, even though this is gray, and it's a medium light gray, it's still gonna take a lot of coats. So I'm gonna let that dry really, really good. Get me a piece of tape. What I'm gonna do is just go right where that sleeve is. And then as I'm doing my line work, it'll go on that tape. And just to be on the safe side, I might as well take this extra piece and just go here too. Because I have a tendency that when I'm doing this type of work, I use very long strokes. Very long. And the key to using this brush is you want to try and keep your brush at this particular angle when painting. You're gonna be, you're gonna want to go like this, and I have to fight to keep from doing that, but you want it up and down because all you want is the pressure right on the tips, because that's gonna get you your thinnest line. If you go like this, you're gonna get a thicker line. That's how I do it. You're gonna have to experiment, figure out what works best for you. And like I said, I really like to water this down. So what I like to do is I kind of like to go with the way the curve of the beard is going. So I'm going to start off by going this way and then coming over here and kind of like letting this meet in the middle. I might just go this far and then work this way on its own with probably just a script liner brush so I have more control. I'm gonna move this over so you can kind of see. I like a lot of water. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. But this is really, really watered down. See how runny that is? And then I like to tap my brush on the side of my plate. And then I use my finger. And I also, too, watch to make sure there's not like a drop of paint making its way down the bristles. But then I just, I rest my pinky on my surface or the table. And then I just kind of go like this. And then I go back and get more paint. And I think I actually had a smaller brush than this, didn't I? Let me see. Nope. Yeah, I actually do. This thing's looking pretty ratty. Well, let's just see here. And here's the deal. This is actually smaller, but it's pretty ratty. If you mess up, and trust me, I mess up doing this, you can always go and cover it back up. Yeah, I don't like the way, that's why I don't use that brush. That is exactly why I don't use that brush. All right. Nope, that's a terrible, terrible brush. All right. And you can get too much water. So that's why I like to brush it up, wipe it off against my plate. And you'll see me go back several times. I mean, technically, I think I got it too thick there. I don't like it. But I'll deal with it. I think this brush doing a brush might not be the answer. And I'm barely touching the surface. Because I don't want those thick lines personally. I do not. I'm actually gonna go over, and that's something else you can do, is you can go over them with another color. So I'm gonna try and just thin them out by going over with this gray. And it'll take several coats. This is gonna take a long time. And I really didn't want to get into this. I just didn't. Now something I'll do is I'll take my liner brush and go around the outside edge. Once I get this to where I like it. And I've never used light buttermilk to do a beard with. So this is a first. I always use white. So I don't know how this is gonna, and don't be afraid, you know, you can go this way too. You don't have to just go from top to bottom. So this is a unique experience using the light buttermilk. See, this is why you have to build it up in layers. You gotta let the coats of paint dry in between. And I might go back and throw some white on there. And I don't care that I'm going over into the blue. Good morning. Because if you think about it, I mean, the beard is going to travel over. What I think I am going to do is I will erase it a little bit, and I'll tell you why. I rather have those wispy lines. I rather use my script liner for that. Also, too, how much pressure you put on the brush when you're doing this will determine the thickness of the lines. So if you're putting a lot of pressure on your brush when you're applying it to the surface, you're going to get thicker lines. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. Gotten some up here on my hat band. If you happen to get them somewhere you don't, I like to use Q-tips to fix my oops moments. I think it works wonders. But here's the deal. If you happen to get it up there, it's going to be a little bit extra work. You can always go back and paint that again with the base color and start over. And I think I'm going to let that dry just for a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to base coat this mustache. I'm not going to worry about how great of a coat I get. And I really don't want any wood showing through. But if it shows through a little bit, it's fine. And then I'll probably just use a script liner for this particular piece because it's so small. And I find too, and this is just me, if I hold it up at an angle like this towards me, I feel that I get better control of my brush. So that's just me. That's what works for me. You're gonna have to just experiment to see what works better for you. And it's probably time to get the script liner out. And same ink consistency. And try and keep it up on the point. And you're gonna see me dip in my water and my paint. And also what I'm doing is I'm twisting my brush to try and get a point. Now, you're not gonna get as much ink on this brush because you gotta think about it, it's tiny. But that just, you know, it causes more work. I mean, but you get a little bit bolder line. I don't know if you can see that I'm getting a little bit bolder lines. Well, that's too bold, but a lot bolder than what I wanted. But and something I'll do too, to try and avoid what I just did, I'll kind of start up here where you can't see it, because that's where the majority of the paint will come off. See how I'm just doing these little faint lines? Over onto the jacket. Hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing. I probably do need to break out the white and throw some white in there. I mean, it's a time-consuming process, but it's a nice result in the end. It's just, it's time-consuming. So you have to decide what you want to do, whether you want to just paint a solid beard and mustache, or if you have a rake brush or a script liner and you want to try this technique, have at it. Whoa, that's a little bit too more than what I wanted. Whoop. Yeah, boy. A little bit more than what I wanted, but I'm not gonna sit there and fuss with it. And you'll see me, you know, doing this pretty fast. I'm gonna see if I can get more color down here. Like I said, you can start at the top, start at the bottom, rotate it throughout. There is no right or wrong starting or stopping point. And as you can see, I am getting paint, whoa, in the hand, and I'm okay with that, because that'll cover up. I'm gonna paint over that hand anyhow. All right, I'm gonna try and do some white. Maybe, let me see something. I'm gonna try warm white. I know I don't want to go crazy with this white, but I just feel it needs brightened up just a titch. It needs some white in there. You can't really see the difference. I don't think. Just my opinion. Whoa, I messed that up bad. Where did I mess that up? Alright, I gotta figure out how to fix that. Because that was an epic fail right there, what I just did. This paint is drying something terrible quick. More hairs than I really wanted. I don't like that. No. That's more than I do, and I don't like that. I'm not doing that. I think a few hairs go a long way. I'm not doing that. That's not how I paint. So, I'll go back and I'll put blue paint on there because, I mean, I do believe in a few wispy hairs, but not all over the place. That's all I like, but that's just me. So I'm going over it. And I'm even gonna go on this side because I'm gonna eliminate that altogether. I'm fussy. A little bit goes a long way, just my opinion. And I had too much, if you want my opinion. I'm just using this, good morning, warm white to just put brighter lines in. And one thing about the, by using the script liner, if you see like a darker area that you would like it lighter, you know, you can target that easier with a script liner. Just my opinion. And I got too much there. Let's see if I can wipe it out. That's too much solid. And here's the thing, I can go back and put put some gray in there if I need, if I feel it's too solid. So don't feel that you're locked in to whatever it is that you've done, because you're not. It's fixable. Like I said, this is very time consuming, and you can fuss with this all day long. Whoa. Still ended up getting, oh, this is getting ridiculous. All right, I think what I need to do is empty out my water. I'm just trying to go where these gray spots are, just to get a little bit of color there. And if you look, you know, down that corner is where it's the grayest. I'm just lightly touching it, trying to get more color in there. Now, something I will do once I get this beard the way I want it, I will go back and shade around underneath the nose, around the hands. I will do that, and I'll use a very watered down slate gray, so it'd be the same color as the base coat of this beard. That's the color I like to use. You can really use any color you want. You can see, you know, basically what I'm doing is putting on more water than paint. That's what works best for me. That's the consistency that I like, and I feel that I get better results with. You might prefer something different. You're just going to have to experiment to see what works best for you to give you the result that you're after. Because what might work for one might not work for another person. And I'm just starting in random places as well. I don't know if you've noticed that. I'm not starting always at the top. Feel like I need just a little bit more over here. Just a titch. And then I still have to do the mustache. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right. I'm going to quit fussing with it. Something I notice is when I'm looking on screen, boy, that blue looks really, really bright. And it's really not. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick break. And then I'll probably come back and do this mustache. Ay, ay, ay. And hopefully I can get it to look okay. Like I said, I don't know, because you're just not, the lines are going to cut off. The lines cut off. And I don't know. I don't know how that's going to really look. I mean, because here you've got this. I mean, I know you can't see that. I got that moved up. But see how that's going to go. And it's just, it's going to kind of cut off. So I don't know. I just might make it a solid beard. I don't know. So this is going to be a wing it type of moment when I go to do this. And I'll be doing it on this board because I need stability. You know what? Let's just try a few shots and see what happens. I probably should have started with the mustache. Not enough water. I mean, definitely need more lines on there. Let's just go. And then I'm gonna take a break. Empty my water. See, that's not, there's not enough water on my brush, and that's why I'm getting that thick line, and I don't like that. The paint's really starting to dry. You got to keep it up on the point, on the tip of your brush. That is key to this technique. Really thin down paint, keeping your brush on the tip. Oh, that's too thick. Ugh. Okay. Way thicker than I wanted. And you can have too much paint and water on your brush. See right there's a glob of water at the bottom of at the tip of my bristles. And if I would have put that on there, I'd have ended up with a big glob. Of paint. And I know that's not what I want. See, there's a glob of paint on there. It's probably kind of hard to see, but that's why I go over and tap it off on my napkin. So it kind of removes that. Now I'm going to go to this white. I hope you can see. I have to pull this in closer to me. I mean, there's too much gray in this mustache to suit me compared to the beard, but that's just my opinion. So, And I'll show you what, I mean, don't you think that's too much, you can't see, but don't you think that's too much gray compared to the beard? See how it's just too much gray? So this really needs a lot of coat. And I really need to hit those gray spots the best I can. So I can get rid of the gray and get more lightness on this mustache. And that's another thing you can do when you're doing something like this. You know, I held that, I put it up next on top of the beard just to compare light and darkness of the two. I mean, you're never going to get the perfect match. There's no way, no how. But you kind of want to try and get it close, just my opinion. And it's tough when you have like on this mustache, how the curve is, because you wanna put your you wanna put your strokes of hair to coincide with the curvature of the piece of wood. That is too much water. I didn't check my brush. Oh well. Hopefully you're able to see. I'm just gonna have this closer to me. mean, I'm getting more of a solid color on this mustache. But that's okay. A lot more solid than what I would normally do. Let's take a look, see, and see how that is. I mean, that looks a little bit more natural. I think that looks a lot more natural with the beard. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a quick break. And I will be back. I'm going to empty out my water. But see, I removed that tape. And if you see, now you can kind of see why I did what I did. You know, because the arm is and hand is over top of the beard. So I didn't want those hairs coming down over my sleeve. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're doing something like this. Take a really good look at, you know, how everything is. And kind of think, you know, on a realistic basis. And then, you know, tape is wonderful. Good morning. So I think by taping that arm was a good thing to do. So that way it just keeps the arm to the front, in front of the beard, and that's what I was trying to go, you know, for. So, and then, you know, as you can see the beard's behind down here too. So that's what I was after. So with that, I'm going to take a break and I will be back and we're going to try and finish this up. Okay, I'm back. So, I'm thinking this looks pretty close. So what I think I'm gonna do, I don't think I'm gonna shade around the mustache onto the beard. If I do, I'll do it after I glue this on, and I'm not one to do that, but that's what I'll do. I am going to try to lightly shade around the arm with a very, very watered down. You know what? That's a big difference. I'll tell you what, I've never done this like this, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna use gray sand. I'm gonna see how that works. I usually use the same color that I do the base coating with, but I'm gonna try something different. And it'll either be an epic fail or it'll be a winner, winner chicken dinner. And honestly, you can hardly see it. But that's okay, because I'll go back. I still think, I don't. I don't know, I don't think you can see. Just trying to get some of these gray spots filled in a little bit more. And that's why when you use a script liner, you can you have more chances of getting it where you want. You don't always hit it in the right spot, but the percentage is higher. So does anyone have any plans for the 4th? You know, with the 4th being on a Thursday, makes it tough if you have a job. I'm kind of blessed. We have the next day off. So, kind of blessed there. So you can barely see that. I might have to do the old slate gray. I don't know. Try it again. Like I said, I normally shade with slate gray on here. This is a first. The shading's very, very faint. Probably should just stick with the slate gray. Because I need a little bit of shadow there. But I'm blending the heck out of my paint. You can see that a little bit better. Not a whole lot better, but a little bit. Need to shade underneath these firecrackers. On the sticks, rather. Underneath the firecrackers. That's very minimal. You can barely see it. But this raw sienna is not a bold color for shading on top of the honey brown anyhow. I might go back and darken that up. Do I really want to attempt it? Like I said, I don't do that like that. But I just feel something needs to be under there. Just something. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Because I have to have this in pretty close to where I am. And I see that I need to somehow, some way, get a better line right there. But what that does though, what I just did, by putting that up there, I kind of got my line that I need. That's way darker than I wanted, but it is what it is. I'm committed now. So, because that's so dark, I need to now kind of even it out. And I need to see where this goes, and I need to shade underneath here. So if I'm gonna shade, I might as well just shade. So I committed myself. I know you guys can't see that, but I can see that. To get the right curvature underneath the nose for the shading. So definitely need to darken that up, considering how bad the rest of this is. Well, I might as well just go for it all. Probably could use a smaller angle. And this is, like I said, I don't like to shade with angle brushes, but this, with the curves, I just feel this is the better choice for me. And too, it's a smaller area. And I got a little bit of paint up on the brim, the hat. All right. Go underneath the nose just to darken it up a little bit so everything even is kind of even as far as darkness of shading. And I'm even gonna go this way just in case I missed a spot. Okay, done with that. All right, let's get this nose painted up. I still need to paint this red. Still have a little bit more work to do because all I'm gonna do is complete this today. That's all I'm gonna do, so. Get it glued together. And then call it good for today. Because I got a few things I gotta attend to today. My time next week is going to be a little bit limited. I've got lots of things I have to do. Lots of orders to fill. I'm going to paint this red, country red. It is a hot one today. Golly. When are we gonna get a break? I know my nephew, he can't say he's cold. He's visiting from Florida. And this weather's, I'm sure, right up his alley. Because there's sometimes he comes up here in the summertime and just says, it's cold up here. What? No, it's nice. But what I can say in his defense is I know when we move back, I'm just using a little bit of highlight flash and I'm going around the right side of the nose and up top, and then I'm going to go back and shade it. But I know when we come back from Florida, you know, your blood thins out. So it definitely changes. I think right. Just a little bit of this neon. just to go around the bottom of this, just to brighten it up a little bit. It's pretty bright. Ooh. There we go, that's a lot better. Let this nose dry a little bit. I need to get, I think, just a little bit more highlighting over up top. I just went all the way across. I decided to go all the way across. But I'll do the left side of the nose. I still have to paint the hands. I just seen that. So let's get that done. Now this might take a few coats of paint because I have a beard going through it. But it should be fine. I mean, like I said, I could have made that another layer. But sometimes I think you can get too many layers going. So I just chose to keep it all the same. But that's just me. Now, if you were to buy this SVG and wanted to, for some reason, make that hand a different layer, I mean, you can do that. I don't care. However, I prefer that you don't sell the finished product like that. Because that's not how I created my design. If you wanted to have it in your house like that, that's one thing, but I mean, altering a design and selling a finished product by altering somebody's design is not okay. It's actually against the law if you don't ask permission. And I think these designers design things the way, create designs a certain way for certain reasons. I mean, I know I do. I mean, if someone wants to contact me and ask me if they can do something prior to doing it, I mean, I would I prefer that you do that. That's the right way to do things. And I'll listen to what you have to say, and I'll think about it and give you an answer, but just go and alter something without asking prior permission is a no-go. I'm a pretty easygoing person. May have to get more. All right, I like to shade just the nose. I'm not going to do this with the hands, but I like to put a color called terracotta. Not terracotta, coral, excuse me. It's like a rose color. I like to use that to shade my nose of my gnomes. That's just me. I don't like it real bright. That's just my personal preference. I mean, if you're not careful, it can get bright. Like, that's way brighter than what I wanted, but I just like a slight variation, so I kind of just like really brush the heck out of that. I know I'm not on camera. I'll let that dry, and then I'll just try and get a very thin, minimal line up around the top. Bring it down, around. That's just the style I do as far as shading and highlighting my nose. That's what I like. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Now the color I use is Flesh by Deco Art for all my flesh. But I don't think they make this anymore. I think the go-to color now is something they call Warm Beige. And to be honest with you, I've never really looked that color up on Deco Art's website. So I really don't know what that color looks like. I'm sure there's other brands of Flesh paint out there. I would never, I don't know why you would retire a color that's Flesh, considering so many people paint like Santa Claus faces and just human faces, period. But there's a method behind their madness. I just haven't figured it out yet. I want to make sure that I'm getting this covered up good enough. Believe it or not, I designed this to have little buttons. And, you know, you do the scoring lines. Well, the circle is so tiny that, you know what, I just took my little thing and dug out, and it looks like there's little buttons. So I think it's a good trade-off. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of black plum at the tip of this, just to darken it up a little bit, just to give it a different color, add a different color. I just kind of wiped off what I did. That's okay, because I had a little bit of a line in there that I didn't like. That's why you gotta be careful shading and highlighting, because you can wipe off the paint, and that's kind of what I did because it was wet. All right. Let's get a little highlighting on these hands. Then go back and shade them. And then I think this is ready to glue together. We can call this good. Just want it a little bit lighter at the tip of the hand. And then I'm gonna use burnt sienna. That's usually what I use. But you gotta really, excuse me, water it down, or you'll get not a desirable color. Sometimes I've used an antique white, and if this is not giving me the look I want, I will do that. I mean, that's too much paint. But I gotta really blend it to where I have hardly any paint. And just lightly touch. And that's actually darker than what I really wanted. But I'm gonna blend it out. You just gotta really blend this particular color if you're gonna use it as a shading color for flesh. And you really have to have a very, very light touch. And I'll let that dry, and then I'll go back underneath where the hand cup, not the hand cup, the cuff of the jacket will go. I can't think today. I got a lot going on. Got a lot I gotta do. But I'll finish this up next weekend. And it'll be perfect for the 4th. All right. Get my glue. We have the tailgate we have to paint. We have the license plate we have to paint. And I thought this is a pretty cool idea for the license plate. It's going to be American flag. So, it'll be a little time consuming, but it'll be nice. So, we'll do that. And this glue is going to take a long time to come down. I probably should just open up a new bottle. Lord knows I got enough of them. I do that subscribe and save, and somehow my subscription got messed up. I don't know. But now I got 3 full bottles. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but I'm good to go. Especially if they have a shortage like they did not too long ago. I will have plenty. I mean, I still have, I mean, there's not a whole lot, but there's enough. And this stuff isn't cheap. So, while that's deciding to make its way down, I'll do a little cleanup here because I clean my area as I go. Last thing I want to do, and this is just me, is I don't want to have to clean my workspace when I get ready to start crafting. Who wants to clean up first? We want to get to the meat and potatoes. So I just prefer to clean my area right from the get-go. That's me. So what we have to do is glue What we have to do is basically glue the stars on, glue the nose on. I don't know, a little fuzzy. Glue the stars, glue the nose, glue the beard. I'm gonna do like I did the last time. I'm gonna do these 3 stars. Now, I didn't make them as white as I did the other ones. I made them a more, you can't see. I made them a more rustic looking. That's what I wanted this time around. So that's what I did. So, these are pretty big stars for this, but and that's really how it's gonna go. It's just like that. I know I have an extra star, but I think that goes actually to my flag. So that's painted and good to go. But yeah, but these are a little bit more weathered and they look more weathered and rustic and antique-ish, and that's kind of what I was after. It's almost here. Now I'm going to start off by gluing on the nose first onto the mustache and letting it dry. That way it's matched up. Sometimes these things have a tendency to move. And then I know that's good and dry, and then I can glue my mustache onto the face. This glue, it's almost there. It's a slow process. There's another hot one. So like I said, all we have left to do is the license plates and the sign, well, the tailgate. This is my idea for the tailgate. God bless America. I'm gonna paint the background same color as the truck, which is the warm white. I think this time I'll do the lettering in red with some blue stars up top. And I think it's gonna be nice. And that's why I'm saying you can use this, you know, all year round, or you can set it out for the 4th of July. You know, it's very patriotic. So I don't think there's a set time for this, to display this. I think it can be done, you know, all year round if you prefer. You know, it's whatever you choose. And I kind of like that. I like to give a little bit of versatility. Excuse me. So I kind of try and think of that as I'm designing. Well, this thing just don't want to come out. So I might have to be opening up a new one. And the stick fast I use is thick. I don't know if I ever said that. I do have some thin. Oh boy, that was the first time I ever bought it. That is a no-go. Stay away from thin. It's like putting water, gluing with water. It's not good. So don't make the mistake I did. I know there's other types of glue out there. But you're just not going to come out, are you? I know there's other glues out there. I don't know what their consistency is like. But I get the thick. I mean, here's what I get. So. And I am tired of waiting on this. So let's just go with this. And when you open it up, you're going to have to cut the tip off. So just be aware of that. And with that tip being as tiny as it is, I might be able to get away with using my bottle this time. Who knows? That's weird. So I'm going to cut a little bit more. All right. You don't need a whole lot of glue when gluing. A little bit goes a long ways. Be sure you get it where you want it because, one, the glue dries fast. And two, if it moves on you, it's leaving a white mark. So definitely make sure you get it where you want it. Whoa. It's twisting on me. Kind of had that one a little cockeyed, but oh well. What I'm going to use is my tweezers on this. I'm just going to kind of dip the star in the glue, kind of wipe it off a little bit, pat it onto my towel, and I'm going to try and get this in the center of the stripe. It's more up towards the top of the, and that thing's already set. I'm telling you, this stuff sets fast. So it's up a little bit higher than what I would want, but it's all good. Which makes me wonder if this loses its whatever after sitting. Because that glue is probably That glue's probably a good year old. You know, I don't use it a whole lot, just so that would be good to know. Whoa. Let's see, I just screwed that up. So I'll have to go back with paint for sure. All right. Oh well. Oh, I wanted to glue my nose on, so it's set. But I'm telling you right now, this glue, whew, it's setting up quick. Way quicker than what I remember. So you better have it lined up and commit, because you ain't getting a second chance. Not today, not with this glue. And it might have a lot to do with the humidity, who knows? I don't know, weird. I've never seen it react like that before. Yep, stick fast is sticking fast. Perfect name. So make sure you got it where you want it, or you're in trouble. You're locked in. All right. I try and keep my glue in the middle of whatever it is I'm gluing. That way it doesn't ooze out. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer so I can see better. Okay, that's all she wrote. That's it. She is done. Rather he. So, probably need to fix that up a little bit, and I'll fix that off camera. But, let me zoom out a little bit. Whoops, wrong way. But this is it. This is my patriotic Americana Uncle Sam truck insert. Just part of it. So, we will finish this up sometime next week. So just stay tuned. If you have notifications set up for my page, you'll get a notification when I go live. If not, set them up. And plus two, you can always go back and watch the replay. And I do have this set up as series. So this is a new series. And you'll find that under my video section, under series. This is part 2. There'll be a part 3. Usually my projects are 3 paintings. So I usually do it in 3 paintings. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining me. You have a wonderful day and a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.